This is brand new at 6 tonight. It's been a heated debate in Portland for more than a year now. How to stop police officers from shooting people who don't pose a serious threat to others. Brand new reporting from our news partners at Willamette Week show many people shot by Portland police officers were thought to have a weapon, only it turned out that was not the case. The issue starts, according to Willamette Week, with 911 dispatchers. The Bureau of Emergency Communications has 105 call takers and dispatchers. They answer about 40,000 911 calls every month. New hires must complete 300 hours of classroom training, followed by one-on-one coaching before they're left on their own. That article is the topic of this week's Willamette Week. Here to talk about it, Willamette Week news editor Aaron Mesh. How are you, Aaron?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not bad. You found in the past decade 1 in 4 people that Portland police officers shot were thought to have a weapon, but that didn't actually turn out to be the case. How does this happen?
That's right. Since 2010, in 11 of the 51 shootings where an officer pulled the trigger, the person was believed to have a gun, and it turned out they had a replica weapon. In another 4 of those shootings, the person was believed to have a weapon and had no weapon at all. So the question is, how is it that a bureau that comes out heavily armed, in fact, 20% of officers carry AR-15s, which is a military-grade rifle, how is it that that bureau is confronting people who they think could shoot them, but in fact have no ability to harm them? So that steps back to the question of how is 911 logging these calls and who is it sending to these calls?
You talked to the Bureau of Emergency Communications. They say there's no protocol for asking 911 callers about weapons, right?
That's right. When we talked to BOEC, the Bureau of Emergency Communications, about this issue, it became clear this isn't a question of good faith or of good effort by the people who are doing this work. They work hard and they care. The problem is more systemic. There aren't protocols to ask follow-up questions about weapons when someone says there's a weapon involved in a case. In other words, if someone calls 911 and says, I've seen a gun, the Bureau asks a lot of questions. They say, who has the gun? They say, where are you? They say they ask all sorts of follow-up questions, but what they don't ask is for a further description of the weapon, and that kind of detail can be really important. For example, Robert Delgado, who was killed by police officers last month, was carrying a gun that had an orange tip on the end. An orange tip is in fact a giveaway placed by the manufacturers to show that this gun can't fire. If you look right there at that image, there on the end is that orange cap. That orange cap is a signal this gun can't fire. And that's important because the police officer probably can't see that orange cap from the 90 feet away at which he shot Robert Delgado. What
happened when you took these findings to city leaders, Aaron?
Well, they expressed concern, but they weren't sure about a solution immediately. Particularly Mingus Mapps. Commissioner Mapps is the new commissioner who oversees the Bureau of Emergency Communications. And we found him to be responsive on this issue. He's only overseen this bureau for 2 months. And he expressed deep concern that Portlanders are calling 911 and either incorrectly or falsely reporting weapons. In some cases, because of an honest misunderstanding about what it is that they're seeing, and in other cases, perhaps, in fact, because they feel that police officers aren't responding quickly enough. As you know, there's a real backlog of calls to the police bureau that many citizens are frustrated they aren't getting a response to, and some people have talked about adding a weapon into their reports as a way to get police officers to respond more quickly. And that can have devastating results.
Aaron Mesh, Willamette Week, always great to see you. Thank you for coming on the program again. And some Portlanders have admitted to telling 911 dispatchers there was a weapon when there wasn't. For that part of the story, head to WWeek.com or pick up the latest edition of Willamette Week on newsstands now.